The Kennedys are legendary. Many consider them the American equivalent to a royal family. But although they lived the life of affluence, privilege, and status, the Kennedys have of course suffered more than their fair share of calamity and tragedy, given the many scandals, accidental deaths, suicides, murders, and assassinations that this one family has endured. It's easy to see why the phrase, the Kennedy curse, is part of the American lexicon. In fact, JFK's brother, the late Senator Edward Ted Kennedy, actually wondered out loud if his family were victims of an awful curse, as if curses could be real. Let's not forget, there are two sides to every coin, and on the opposite side of Camelot, there are some darker elements. As it happens with all secrets, with time, many of the Kennedy family's deepest, darkest secrets have eventually come to light. Let's take a look at the skeletons in the Kennedy family's closet. Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, life with a cheating husband. JFK's mother, Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, was born into a political family. Her father was the mayor of Boston, and he didn't approve of her boyfriend and future husband, Joseph, whom she'd met at age 17. They dated secretly, married on the eve of World War I, and raised 9 children. But there were many heartbreaks and infidelities to follow. Even at the age of 60, Joseph was flaunting his affair with his 24-year-old secretary in front of Rose, who tolerated his cheating with the help of tranquilizers, according to Ronald Kessler, author of the book The Sins of the Father. Rosemary Kennedy's lobotomy. When John F. Kennedy's mother, Rose, was giving birth to her eldest daughter, Rosemary, the doctor wasn't available right away. The attending nurse instructed Rose to keep her legs closed and the baby inside until the doctor arrived. Rosemary's head stayed inside the birth canal for 2 hours, depriving her of oxygen and leaving her mentally disabled for life. As her mental state became more and more apparent to her parents, they feared her learning disability and low IQ were the cause of great trauma and humiliation for the family. That, coupled with Rosemary's attractiveness, made the young woman a target for men on the prowl. In 1941, following years of seizures and violent outbursts, Rosemary's father, Joseph Kennedy, arranged a frontal lobotomy when she was 23. She was never the same again. She lost the use of one arm and one leg. Her speech became largely unintelligible, and she had the mental capacity of a 2-year-old. Her family abandoned her and kept her shuttered away in institutions for the rest of her life. Her condition remained a secret for decades. Senator Ted Kennedy and Chappaquiddick. In 1969, Senator Ted Kennedy took the life of 28-year-old campaign worker Mary Jo Kopechne after driving his car off a bridge on Chappaquiddick Island, Massachusetts. That night would haunt Ted Kennedy for the rest of his life. The senator was at a party with Mary Jo Kopechne. Later that evening, when the two were driving, the incident occurred. Instead of calling the police or knocking on a nearby neighbor's door, Kennedy consulted his lawyer and friends before returning to his hotel. Kopechne's body was recovered in the car the next morning. Decades later, Police Chief Dominic Arena, who charged Ted with leaving the scene of the accident, still wondered why the senator waited so long to report what happened. I'll never understand why he left Mary Jo in the car for 10 hours before he reported the accident. Kennedy received only a 2-month suspended sentence for his part in her death. Skakel's murder trial. Michael Skakel was a nephew of Robert F. Kennedy's widow, Ethel Skakel Kennedy. In 1975, he was convicted of beating his 15-year-old neighbor, Martha Moxley, to death with a golf club in Greenwich, Connecticut. The Connecticut Supreme Court eventually overturned the murder conviction and ordered a new trial on the grounds that Skakel's lawyer had not provided effective representation. Exactly 45 years after Martha's body was found under a tree, bludgeoned, and stabbed to death, prosecutors announced there would be no second murder trial. One trial witness quoted Skakel as saying, "I'm going to get away with murder, I'm a Kennedy." as it had taken 25 years for Skakel to be convicted initially. Many witnesses had since died and memories had faded. In 2020, prosecutors said it would likely be impossible to get a second conviction as a result, and to this day, Skakel continues to maintain his innocence. The family's endless tangle of misdeeds. In 1991, JFK's nephew, William Kennedy Smith, allegedly raped a young woman in Palm Beach, Florida, and had family investigator intimidate a witness. He claimed that it was consensual. However, similar allegations have cast further doubt on Smith's character, with several women accusing Smith of assault between the 1980s and the 2000s. In 1973, RFK's eldest son, Joseph P. Kennedy II, paralyzed a woman named Pam Kelly after crashing the car that the two were riding in. Kennedy was cited for driving recklessly but fined just $100 for his part in the ordeal. Another son of RFK died from drug overdose. In 1984, David Kennedy lost his life at the age of 28 in a hotel in Palm Beach, Florida. He had reportedly watched his father's assassination on live TV as a boy and later struggled with heroin and alcohol addiction. JFK's sister, Kathleen Kennedy, was shunned by her Catholic family, all because she had married a Protestant man. Only her brother Joe attended her wedding, and after she died at the age of 28, her father was the only member to attend her funeral. President John F. Kennedy, like father, like son. Although JFK cultivated the media profile of a devoted family man, he was by all accounts a prolific philanderer. JFK's rumored affairs included movie stars Marilyn Monroe and Marlene Dietrich, among many others. Another one of JFK's long-standing lovers was Judith Campbell, an ex of Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana, who claimed she was used as a courier for packages between JFK and the mafia. In 1963, President Kennedy had an affair with an East German woman named Ellen Ramitz, who may have been a communist spy. 2 decades earlier, during World War II, Navy ensign John F. Kennedy had an affair with a married woman named Inga Arvad, someone whom the FBI had under surveillance on suspicion of being a Nazi spy. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover feared that Arvad, the very woman whom Adolf Hitler himself had tried to woo on several occasions, was trying to extract sensitive information. According to a recent unauthorized biography of the former First Lady, while JFK was still a senator, Jackie paid a surprise visit to his office and caught him with a woman named Peggy Ash. Jackie, aware of JFK's infidelities, reportedly met with her father-in-law, who offered her $1 million to stay quiet and stay in the marriage, thus not harming John's presidential chances. But then, Jackie bartered for a better deal and responded she would want $20 million if John brings home any venereal disease from any of his mistresses. After one particularly ugly fight between Jackie and John over his infidelities, he had her briefly sent to a psychiatric clinic to receive electroshock therapy, an experience she called the nightmare ride of my life. Robert F. Kennedy's assassination. Bobby Kennedy put his career on hold to help his brother's election campaign and was rewarded with the job of Attorney General, but it would be a difficult role. In the months after the disastrous Bay of Pigs invasion, JFK wanted RFK to oversee Operation Mongoose, a campaign of attacks and covert operations in Cuba aimed at removing Fidel Castro from power. Millions were spent building secret bases, training spies, and plotting operations. There were at least 8 failed attempts on the communist leader's life. And by 1968, RFK was a candidate in the Democratic presidential primaries until he was shot dead in June in Los Angeles. While an immigrant, Sirhan Sirhan, confessed and was convicted, there was little credible evidence that he was the shooter or that he acted alone, something that sparked many conspiracy theories, but rarely is anything more conspired than this. Who killed JFK? It's the secret that has launched 1,000 books and even more conspiracy theories. Instead of covering all of them, let's take a look at some of the widely recognized theories like the Umbrella Man, multiple gunmen, mafia's involvement, Ted Cruz's dad, a government inside job, and of course, who wouldn't call out the Soviets and the Cubans for their contribution too? This mystery of JFK's assassination has stumped the world's greatest minds, but that could soon change. By December 2022, the Biden administration had released more than 14,000 additional JFK assassination-related documents, and even more since then. These declassified documents may hold the key to solving this mystery. Or will it just create more theories to conspire about? Maybe that is what makes it even darker. Maybe the Kennedy family's real nail to the coffin is whether they are cursed or not. What do you think? Is it a curse or something even more sinister? If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more videos like this one.